Permettetemi di intervenire in italiano, non intendo
With your permission, I will speak Italian. I don't want to murder the language of Shakespeare, even though I have notes in English. Now we know that the issue of psychoactive substances has always been an issue ever since we started the Schengen Treaty, where the Netherlands had allowed a free trade and the free circulation of cannabis. And the French were against, and the French border guards were actually inspecting trains coming from the Netherlands. The EU in 1985 had nothing to say about the matter. Only after the Maastricht Treaty came into force, collaboration with respect to police and criminal justice collaboration was agreed, when the EU was positioned to face the crime of trafficking in psychoactive substances. It's a very divisive issue. What happened in the EU, as always, when we deal with a politically difficult subject, it was bureaucratized in order to avoid a clear decision on one or the other side. An observatory of psychoactive substances was created in Lisbon, and then towards the end of the 1980s, international legislation, included the UN legislation, was in fact leaning towards prohibitionism, and the European Parliament at that time could not until 2009, could not act in any decisive manner with respect to the criminal, in terms of criminal justice, because it was part of the intergovernmental remit or mandate. So the waters were people did everything to calm the waters and to demonstrate that there was democratic control. And Marco will remember that one of the first opportunities where the European Council was sued before the European Tribunal, where the European Council was trying to put Met4 on the criminalized substances list by an executive order, by regulation, even though, and in fact, it requested member states to penalize the substance.
At that time, we said in front of the European Court that it was an intervention that was too far-reaching, and that the Parliament should be at least asked for its opinion on the topic. Of course, our capacity to act was very much restricted at the time. At that time, the European Council, who called itself a Politburo of the EU, adopted the first strategy of counteracting drugs in the European Union. Since there is the principle of loyal cooperation, there was yet another initiative in our committee to send a recommendation to the European Commission, and we would await a response on their part. And, well, we're still waiting. Years passed, and at the level of the Parliament, the LIBE committee did not intervene too often in the topic, because there was a certain division of roles in terms of protection of data, transparency, and free trade. The European Parliament is a kind of Robin Hood, and the Council is a sheriff from Nottingham. That is what the division between them is up till now. And the European Parliament was trying to decelerate the movement towards a more prohibitive policy than the one that we had at that time. The treaty, the Lisbon Treaty, dating back to 2009, decided that there would be no intergovernmental cooperation in that area. However, the European Parliament does not intervene in that. So far, the European strategy to counteract drugs is defined at the level of the European Council. The European Parliament does not participate in the process at all. This is true for the strategic plan to counteract drugs for 2021-2025. That plan does not provide for the participation on the part of the European Parliament at all. So the question is how to sound a wake-up call for the European Parliament, probably just as you are trying to do through legislative initiatives and through referring to the fact that the European Parliament cannot ignore the fact that many actions on the part of the member states take place within the framework of some programs, such as the program of voluntary cooperation by the police, called Impact. Nobody has any oversight over that. No, not the European Parliament, nor national parliaments. If they were all voluntary initiatives, it would be lesser evil. However, no one knows to what extent the impact goes. There is a long road ahead of you, and there is a long road ahead of the European institutions.